Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into something huge, the tangled and, frankly, completely misunderstood relationship between information, truth, and power. And now, a brand new force, artificial intelligence, is about to completely rewrite the rules. To get a handle on that future, we first need to get a handle on the nature of truth itself.
You know, that might sound like a dramatic movie tagline, right? But this is the very real question that's splitting the world's sharpest minds. The debate around AI isn't some quiet little discussion happening in a university somewhere. It's a massive, high-stakes argument about our future as a species, and the two sides are, well, they're miles apart.
So on one side, you've got the techno-optimists, folks like the legendary investor Mark Andreessen. They look at AI and see the ultimate problem solver. For them, AI isn't a threat we should be scared of. It's a tool so powerful it could cure diseases, wipe out poverty, you name it. So for them, building this stuff isn't just a good idea, it's a moral obligation.
And then you've got the other side. And what's so jarring about this, what should really make you pause, is who's saying it. This isn't some warning from sci-fi writers. We're talking about the godfathers of modern AI, the very people who built the foundations of this technology. And they're warning that if we mess this up, the consequences could be catastrophic, like extinction-level catastrophic. So, who's right?
Well, it turns out we can't even begin to answer that question until we get something else straight first. Because it's very possible that what we think information is for, we've had it all wrong this whole time.
Most of us have what you could call the naive view of information. Google's original mission statement captured it perfectly. Organize the world's information. The assumption hidden in there is that information is like a map of reality, and if we just have more of it, a better map, we'll get closer to the truth. Simple. But what if that's not its main job? What if information's real superpower isn't about describing the world, but about creating it, by getting millions of us to believe in the same shared fictions?
And honestly, this is the secret to, well, everything about us. Think about it. We didn't climb to the top of the food chain because we had the sharpest claws or the best eyesight. We did it because we are the world's greatest storytellers. We can invent and believe in fictions. Things like nations, money, human rights, corporations. You can't trip over a corporation in the street, right? It doesn't physically exist. It's a story we all agree to believe in. And these intersubjective realities are the most powerful forces on the planet.
And this isn't just some abstract philosophical idea. Nope. History is packed with examples where a new information technology didn't spread the truth, but instead supercharged a powerful fiction that changed everything.
Okay, so check this out. After Gutenberg invents the printing press, right? A total game changer for information. Two very different books come out. One was from this guy Copernicus, the one he figured out the Earth goes around the sun. Groundbreaking and completely true. You'd think it would fly off the shelves, right? Wrong. It was a commercial disaster. But another book, the Malleus Maleficarum, basically a detailed, terrifying, and completely fictional how-to guide for hunting witches. That was an international bestseller. The brand new tech didn't care about the truth. It cared about the story that grabbed people, and the results were deadly for thousands.
But the power of these systems, it can get way more personal than that. Let me tell you a story about one man, Bruno Lüttinger. He was born in 1913, lived his whole life in the same city, Czernowitz. He knew who he was, he knew where he came from. For him, reality was pretty clear. But then, the system, the bureaucracy, it all changed. After World War I, his city became part of Romania, and in the 1930s, a new law came down that required him to reprove his citizenship. Suddenly, his whole life, what he knew to be true, it just didn't matter anymore. All that mattered was having the right piece of paper. And in all the chaos, he just couldn't find it. And then it happened. A single letter shows up from some government office hundreds of miles away. And just like that, with a stamp and a signature, the information system completely overwrote his reality. He was declared stateless. He lost his job, his rights, and 9 months later, the Second World War broke out. That piece of paper wasn't describing his reality. It was creating a new, terrifying one for him.
So Bruno's story, it just shows us this incredible, kind of scary power we've had all along. Our stories, our laws, our databases, they aren't just taking pictures of the world. They are the architects building the world. And now, we're about to hand the blueprints over to a brand new kind of architect.
So, okay. If we've always been using information to build our realities, what on earth happens when a non-human intelligence gets in on the act? With this idea in our heads, we can finally understand what makes AI a total game changer.
You see, every piece of tech we've ever invented before this, the printing press, the radio, the internet, they were just megaphones for human ideas. Powerful, yeah, but ultimately just tools. AI is totally different. It's the first thing that isn't just a tool. It's an agent. For the very first time, we are creating something that can make its own decisions and have its own genuinely new ideas.
So what does that actually look like? Well, let's talk about a number, 37. Back in 2016, Google's AlphaGo AI played the world champion of Go, Lisa Dahl. In the second game, AlphaGo played a move, Move 37. It was so bizarre, so alien, that the human world champion literally had to get up and leave the room to try and figure out what just happened. And you know what? It was a genius move. It won AlphaGo the game. But here is where it gets really wild. The reporters, they go to the DeepMind guys, the creators, and they ask, so, explain the logic. Why did it do that? And they couldn't. As its co-founder said, they knew it worked, but they couldn't fully trace the machine's reasoning. It's a black box. We're building minds that are starting to think in ways we can't even follow. And this new kind of alien intelligence, it's not just for playing board games. It is quickly becoming the new global battlefield, and it's splitting the world in two. So, take a look at the money. Projections say that by 2030, AI is going to add something like $15.7 trillion to the global economy. A staggering number. But look where it's all going. Almost 70% of that massive pie is expected to be snapped up by just two places, China and North America. This isn't just an economic shift. It's a huge consolidation of power. You know, back in the Cold War, we had the Iron Curtain made of concrete and steel, while the new dividing line in the world is a Silicon Curtain. It's a border made of code, of data flows, of who controls the AI models, and who makes the chips that run everything. These are the new walls of the 21st century empires.
So let's just pull this all together for a second. We humans, we run the world by telling stories. That's our superpower. But now, for the first time in history, we've built a non-human storyteller, an AI that is learning to write its own stories, and by doing that, reshape our world. So the ultimate question for us is, are we going to be the ones steering this thing, or are we just going to become characters in a story that it writes for us? That's the challenge, and that's what we have to figure out.